Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is Connie. I want to welcome you back to my channel. Today I have a Christmas card that I made, and I will also be sharing with you a tutorial on how I put it together if you want to stick around for that. This is a upright or a stand-up Z-fold card, but it is an A6 size. It's not the standard A2 size card. I normally make my cards A6. So I'm going to go ahead and get started sharing what I did here. Excuse me. So sorry. First of all, my design is from Cuddly Cute Designs. I think the title of it is Warm and Cozy. I'm not 100% sure, but if you put that in the search field, it should bring something up. My title here, which is part of the design, is about 2 1/8 inches wide, 2 inches high. I did use glitter paper for the white on the background, and then on the little berries on all three pieces, or both pieces, I did use some Nuvo drops, the ruby red slipper glitter drops on that. My little snowman, and I apologize, I didn't grab the size on this. He is about, say 4 1/4 inches high all total. And then I'm just going to say, with the coffee cup and everything, he's probably about, let's say 3 1/8 inches wide. So this was not my original card design that I was going to use. I was just going to make a straight flip, fold over card, like a book style card. And I just kind of get tired of making those. So I decided to do something a little bit different. Got on YouTube, found a video for this, and then modified it to fit my card size. And it's designed so when it stands up, this little piece, this little scalloped piece, which looks like it's a little off center, will actually hold this piece. Well, mine doesn't very well, but it all works. I'm good with it. So what I did was, for this black and the white piece, those are actually dies from my stash. I don't know if you can see, this has got a black piece, has a little bit of a stitching, and you don't see it real well, but it's all good. So I was going to emboss the white piece with a snowflake embossing folder and completely forgot. Rather upset with myself, but I'm gonna go with it. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and fold it down a moment to show you the insides here. This is from, I think, a Jaded Blossom stamp. This is from a Crafter's Companion stamp set that I was gifted from Cherie, so thank you for that. And the scalloped circle and the other circle are just cut out from dies that I have in my stash. And then, so again, it sits like this. You've got, I used extra heavy cardstock, and I gotta get it burnished better, but it does stand. This table's very smooth. But anyway, you can also open it up, and then I did put a back piece in. I did this and I added this extra pieces because I'm giving this to a friend of mine that I see maybe once every 5 or 10 years. We went to school together and just don't get together like I wish we could. But so I just added this to this stamp set, and this is actually from CC Designs also. That's the one that, anyway, then I can add a special message in there. I could have also put one here if I wanted, but I may put some sticker in here yet. I'm not 100% sure. I honestly not positive what I'm doing. But anyway, that is my card design. Just want to thank you for sticking or watching today. I've had a crazy week. I'm not sure what I'm saying half the time. I apologize. Anyway, if you're interested in a process video on how I put this together, stick around. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome day. Take care. Okay, so let's get started getting this card put together. If you did stick around for the process part of this video, I do want to thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and get my pieces out of the way here, and I'll start with the base card. As I mentioned, this is an A6 size card. I'm using two 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper to create it. Even if you used a 12-inch piece, you should have enough. I'm trying to think. You would, but you'd still have to cut it this way. The piece is just to get it the right size. So just to give you a heads up. But my first piece, my back piece, is 4.5 by 6.25. Just the straight standard piece. My next piece is 4.5 wide. It is 11 inches long, okay? And I use this size, the 4.5 wide, 6.25. Gives me just a little bit more room to work with for my pieces. Sometimes I'd use a 5 by 7, but then it gets almost too big. So I like this size. It's easy for me to get envelopes also. Okay, so with your 11-inch piece, 11 by 4.5, excuse me, with the 11-inch side at the top of your scoreboard, you are going to score at 1/2 inch, 6 3/4, 8 7/8. I'll try to remember to put that in the description box. Apologize. That's the only scoring you have to do. I do, on this little 1/2 inch piece, like to taper my pieces just because they lay better. I'm going to bring in my scrap paper, so I'm trying to, my mat's dirty enough, I tell you. Someday I will get a glass mat, but in the meantime, this works. So on the 1/2 inch piece only, you're going to put glue down. Grabbed the wrong glue bottle, but that's okay. Everything is such a mess on my desk, I don't know. Okay, so the other 4.5 by 6.25 piece. So I've got my 4.5 by 11 piece here, okay? So I'm just going to join those two together. And I use that just to lay down. And I'm just, don't go over the score line. I'm just butting it right up to the score line, trying to get the sides as even as possible along there. And I just like to burnish mine really well. Make sure they're gonna stay where they're put. I've got glue back here. Time to clean my adhesive eraser again to cut some pieces off. This is why I am so slow at card making. Everything's got to be just so precise. So there is my card base. Very simple to put together, and it's just going to stand up like this and come together. Okay, I'm going to work on my inside first. And for that, keep in mind, everybody's going to have different pieces and whatnot. And I was just looking, I seem to feel like I've already lost part of something. Excuse me one moment here. Okay, I found it back. Apologize. I make my mats 1/8 inch smaller. So my black piece is 6 1/8 by 4 3/8. The matting part of it is completely up to you how you want to do this. You wouldn't have to even do all these layers. This card is going to be incredibly thick because I'm using 120-pound cardstock to start with. That's what I have right now close by. And think this card will be hand delivered. I'm not positive. That's my plan right now. But we'll see. If not, I'll just pay the postage. Nothing new. This next layer will be 6 by 4 1/4. Get my measurements right. Just kind of going from memory. Again, you wouldn't even have to do these 2 inside layers. I just said it's for a specific recipient, so that's what I'm doing. New paper trimmers, and I think I got the wrong blades and having a bit of a problem with them. This stamp set is, my stamps are in there. Oh no, they're right, from CC Designs. This is a brand new stamp set. I've had it for a while, but I haven't really used it much. I was going to show you, if you aren't aware of this. I'm not going to take the whole stamp set out, but brand new stamp. All I do on the acrylics is I just take my adhesive eraser, run over it a bit to get that residue off. I stamped this one time with my Misty. I didn't have to stamp it more, and it stamped perfect. I use Tuxedo, Memento Tuxedo black ink, or I use Ranger, what is it? It's the permanent black ink. I don't remember the name of it, but either way, yeah, I have good luck. So I'm trying to get my stamp set back together. Sorry for the crinkling. But I want to show you that because I've had some questions, but I also, like I said, use the Misty. I just have the mini, but it works well. Now this, I wanted to write a sentiment or something on, so I made it a little bit bigger, but it is about 3 5/8 wide by 5 1/2. So again, just a personal preference of what you want to put in here. You could, if you had some stamps or some, what do I want to say, stickers, you know, that you wanted to use up, you could use those. You don't have to do anything, but since I'm not using a ruler, I'm going to kind of hold this up to make sure I am getting it somewhat straight. This just gives me a little extra room to put a message in there. So that is my inside, and now we're going to work on the outside. And getting all my pieces, I apologize, I cut 2 bases here, then I decided, oh, I'm going to do a video. It's one of those days. Try to figure out what I'm going to do all day. Okay, so we're just working on this 6 1/4 inch length piece for right now. And again, I'm matting this with the same dimensions, 6 1/8 long by 4 3/8 inch wide. And I should have started by saying I don't remember where I saw original video for the card base, but it was for A2. And I go ahead and figure out the measurements and make it fit my cards. I am going to lay this flat. It's easier to get burnished and remove any adhesive that I need to. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera too much or the tripod. Okay, and then again I'm using this. The reason I chose to use this plaid, I don't have a lot of Christmas paper left. I've been making, I made some treat boxes, like bag type holders for my great nieces and nephews, and money roll boxes, so I was using up scrap paper and I didn't want to buy any more because I know I wasn't doing a lot of Christmas projects this year. So I'll get new next year. But this also matched, so it's got red and green, kind of that off-white, but it's got the colors of the designs, so that's kind of why I picked this. I just couldn't find something I liked with the colors, and this kind of blended in, so. Okay, now I'm gonna do this little inside piece here, and this is another area where if you were doing that inside back piece, you could write a sentiment here. I'm just going to do a black and a white piece. I'm not putting another piece of colored cardstock. Believe me, this card is going to be so thick as it is, so it's good. This piece is going to be 2 inches high, 4 3/8 inches wide. You'll need 2 of those because you'll need one on the bottom piece also if you're double matting things. Again, not something you have to do. I just like the look of it. You could have used a colored base instead of white. I don't know, I just seem to use white bases the most. And then changed up your cardstock also. I think part of it is I don't have usually heavier cardstock, so could be part of it. Okay, and then again, this is 2 inches wide, or high by 4 3/8 inches wide. Get the right directions there. Sorry if I'm out of frame a little bit there. So I've got my 2 bottom pieces here, my 2 folds. And for this one, we'll go back in and put, well, if I can get a hold of things, my base piece on, or my colored cardstock there. I am struggling to get Christmas projects done this year. I think next year I need to start in January again, and I say that every year, but I am going to start earlier. Hopefully I won't have so many changes and things going on. But I did want to say I had a request to show you how to paper piece the penguin from my book style gift box, and I will be getting that hopefully by the end of this coming week now. Been a lot of stuff going on, I apologize. Okay, so here's the front of our card so far, standing up. Okay, now I'm going to put that aside a moment, and the following pieces now are going to be completely up to you, what you choose to do, as far as die cuts and stuff. Okay, so bring back my scratch piece of paper a moment. I'm using, this is going to be on the inside piece here. How I chose these pieces was, you need 2 sets, the same, identical, okay? I took my paper piece that I'm using and decided, okay, what size fits that, or what looks good that I have for dies. You could cut something with your electronic cutter, you know, however, you could just do rectangles. It's up to you. But that's how I determined what I was using. And these are dies from my stash. I really couldn't tell you where everything came from. I apologize. I'm just getting some glue on here. I can tell this is an AliExpress die because one of my corners didn't cut out very well, and that's okay because it is going to get covered up, or I would have redone it. So if you're wondering about that little corner, I'm good with that. Okay, so putting these 2 on, And I'm thinking I'm gonna find some stickers from my stash. I forgot about that, to put on here, just to kind of add a little bit of life down here on the bottom. And we'll see what I've got. This again is going to be my inside one. Putting that in last because I want the two to be on top of each other, okay? Also, before I put this on, I want to get my paper piece on. It's all kind of going to matter because there's one more element that has to go on here. So I'm going to put this down just a little bit. So get some glue on this. I am not adding any dimension on this. You could, depending upon what you want to do. I honestly will have plenty of dimension without doing that. I'll get you the size of this in a moment. This design is from Cuddly Cute Designs. This card works well with a lot of different, either stamped images if you're into stamping, or paper pieced images. Now I've got the warm and cozy title to go on here also. So I'm just, the corner of his face is gonna bug me there, so I'll use some different glue. Just getting some glue in there. I have to be careful, I put almost too much there. And then his hat, just a little bit more. So I did use on the paper piece, should have done it for the candy stick too also, but I did use glitter paper on the hat and the snow and the snowflake, and then I added glitter in there. And now I just remembered I was going to actually run that white piece through the embossing folder, and I completely forgot about that. That's what happens when I change my mind last minute, but it's all good. We're just going to put it through some snowflakes, but I'm fine with that. Okay, again, before I do anything else, I have one more element to this that I have to figure out where it's going to go. And this is just this little scallop circle in the top piece. Scallop circle is about 1 5/8 in diameter in the top. And I'm going to get this together, then I'll show you. You might already know how this goes or what it does, but let's get this going. I tried to get that snowflake somewhat centered, but I was using a scrap of paper. I only had so much to go on, so yeah, we'll use something other here if I got. I never have stuff out where with what I need. I'm looking for a piece of foam, so I'll just cut a little piece here. I'm only putting this on the top part. Okay, you don't want the whole thing covered. So let's see. We'll go with this as the top. And I might have to move it around a little bit, but let's see. I'm gonna leave it. Okay. What the purpose of this little piece is, it's gonna hold the card. So when it stands up, it will hold it underneath it there. So, put a little bit of glue on. Excuse me, and put it as close to the top as I can. Okay, and then what it'll do is just hold that down, but I had to put it down there so I know where his hat is and then where I can put this on. This piece, you only want to put glue just on like the bottom, not even hardly fourth of it or so. So I'm going to put a bead of glue along there too in just a moment. It just holds it together better. But yeah, I'm just putting, and this is on the bottom, as you can see. Whoops. And then I'll just put a bead of glue here. Didn't want it quite that far. Making sure I don't have glue on the back. Okay. So, easier for me to do it this way. I want to center it between the two here. And just hold that down a minute to make sure it's going to stick. Oh, that's where I felt glue coming out. Now, the one thing I don't care for about this pattern paper on the back there, you cannot use an adhesive eraser on there or it will take the print off. It's a little bit, got a little bit of a glossy texture. I don't know what the difference is, but otherwise I love the paper. It's great to work with, but yeah. So, okay. So what that's designed to do is hold that card together, and it doesn't work, so we're just going to leave it. I don't know why it doesn't want to stay for me. It's down too far. This might have to come down a bit. Let's try it. So what happens when you don't follow the actual directions? You know, you have different size cards than what you plan on, and heavy cardstock. Yeah, it kind of works. Okay. Next thing, I want to get this on. This, you can put glue on the whole thing. Nothing works when I'm on video. I don't know. It's just, you know, the way it goes. It'll eventually work. It all goes together and it still looks nice. So that's the main thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm just holding this piece here. Holding them together as best I can. And I'm going to take that off a moment. And I'm trying to get these lined up again as best I can. This can, seems like it's a tiny bit crooked. And for me to lay things flat works best. Right. Oh goodness, backwards. It's been, I don't know, weird week, long week. I don't know what's going on lately. I'll get there with things to work out. Again, put this down a little bit. And then I'm going to put the title on in a moment. We'll leave that alone. My Warm and Cozy, first of all, I do have it popped up on foam tape, and I used white glitter paper for the back, that white. Added some, those are Nuvo drops. They're Nuvo glitter drops. I don't know what they're called exactly, but this is cut at about 2 1/8 wide and 2 inches high, we'll say. And it was designed to just go right like this. It'll cover up part of the snowflake, but that's how I designed it. This was not my original card design for this, but when I designed it, I had planned on this size card, the A6 card, And the only difference, the reason this is covered up a little bit more is because it didn't go up as far. I was just going to make a straight flat card, fold over card. And honestly, I get tired of making those. So I decided to do something a little different. I started looking on YouTube. I have a section for card folds and came across this and decided this is what I was going to make. So now, even if this doesn't hold this in, which it probably won't, that's my luck, but just what happens when I do cards. I'm good with that. Okay, it still is a beautiful card. I don't know if you can see it sitting that way. And then it just looks like this is holding this down. So I'm gonna put this down just a tiny bit, and then this will just slide under there. That's my finished card. Yes, I go to a lot of work. I don't make quick cards, unfortunately. Just how I do things. But anyway, fun little card to create. So thank you for joining me. Have an awesome day, everybody. Take care.